I'm thrilled on behalf of the team at Massive and the teams that are working on The Division worldwide to exclusively announce to our community first that we're working on the sequel to The Division 2.
Hello everyone, it's a big day. The Division is getting a sequel. It's confirmed. All of these months of wondering and like, what the hell is Massive doing over there, and Avatar, who wants to play an Avatar game, and all that shit, it's all finally put to rest. We know what the plan is. We are getting a sequel to The Division. I want to talk about what I think about that. For those of you that don't know, I used to be a Division YouTuber. I got my start on YouTube 2 years ago covering The Division. I would talk about it 3 to 5 times per week. I would put out build guides. I would do state of the game breakdowns. I would do weekly vendor reset videos, rest in peace my Saturdays. I would do all that stuff. It was basically my life for about 18 months. And it was a game that I really loved, to be honest. It was such a messed up game. It was such a broken game. It was deeply, deeply flawed. But despite all of that, I really enjoyed it because I think it had a very unique concept to it that I think it delivered pretty well, despite how broken it was in so many regards. So the game means a lot to me, and even today it still does. I mean, just recently I put out a review of it, which I'll leave in the description below, talking about how, you know, they've massive stuck with the game. Ubisoft stuck with the game. It lost a lot of its player base. It really fell to pieces, and they could have dumped it, but they didn't. They stuck with it. They built it back up, and now the game's the best it's ever been. It feels complete. It feels like the game that we should have got at launch, and that's why I think a lot of people are going to be very confused and concerned and angry about the announcement of a sequel, which is something that's a fairly unique phenomenon in 2018. You've kind of got a few different camps these days when it comes to how games should evolve over time. You've got a group of people that believe that their game should live forever, you know, or most of them should live forever. So they look at something like Warframe and they think Warframe is fantastic, and I'm so glad that it lasts forever. Like, it just, you know, I never lose all my progress, I never lose all my stuff. It's a fantastic live service game. And then you have another group of people that feel that live services are the devil. Jim Sterling has spoken extensively about this. He and a number of other people feel as though it's just another way for publishers to milk you for more money. It's not a view I subscribe to personally, but it's definitely a sentiment that's out there. People don't like live services because they think it means less games and more microtransactions. You've got some other people at the other side of the fence that love the idea of a sequel, and they're really excited about it, and sequels are great, and yeah, bring on sequels, okay? And then you've got some other people that hate the idea of sequels because they've been burned quite a few times. And I think the number one burn in the Division community, in the looter-shooter community, is Destiny 2. I think the fall of Destiny 2 is such a fascinating story in the context of video games and how that happened right at the same time as Warframe was ascending. You know, you had this game that came from nothing and built itself up through hard work and determination. Just everyone came to love it, versus a game that everyone came to love over time because they put a lot of work into it, and then they just threw all of that away with this shitty, generic, rehashed, reused, just garbage sequel. I think a lot of people now look at sequels through the lens of Destiny 2, and they think there's no way that a game like The Division should get a sequel because it's just going to be another Destiny 2. I don't want that. I want The Division to be Warframe. I don't want it to be Destiny 2. Already, I can see the clickbait thumbnails on YouTube talking about the fact that Ubisoft has abandoned The Division and it's just going to try and rake in more cash with, you know, season pass dollars and all that sort of shit. I can totally see how the commentariat is going to take this and run with it from a clickbait perspective, but we need to just take a step back and realize that we don't know anything about this game yet. We don't know what The Division 2 is. It could be a very, very crappy, lazy, bad sequel like we've seen in the past from other games. It could also be fantastic. It could be the sequel that we've always wanted. It could be a more evolved, better form of The Division, better than it's ever been before. It could be either one of those things, and jumping to conclusions now about what that's going to be is well and truly premature. If The Division 2 is bad, everybody riot, okay? Just riot in the streets, whatever. If it's something that could have been possible with what The Division 1 was, and there was no reason to make that sequel, then I will fucking lead the charge calling this game out as utter garbage. But we don't know that yet. We literally haven't seen anything about it, and hopefully we'll see something at E3, but we don't really know. We don't know when it's out. We don't know anything more about it at this point. So I kind of think we just need to make sure we keep that in perspective. I will say, unashamedly, that on face value, I'm excited about this announcement because for a few reasons. I think number one, The Division is a really broken game, even today. Like, it's in the best place it's ever been, and in my recent review, I said that it finally feels complete, and for what it is, it's a great product. You can get it for like $30 now, and there's a lot of value in that game for $30. It can absolutely be your go-to regular game, and it's going to be great. But within that experience, there are still tons of issues. You know, obviously things like netcode is just so bad. You know, like it uses some of the worst netcode across any competitive shooter in the entire industry. The animation rigging is like legendarily bad. The whole chicken dance thing, it's still a thing, and it's not easy to fix. The design of the DZ is another thing. Even people that enjoy the DZ, I'm sure, will agree that the final form of the DZ, what it is now with Rogue 2.0, is not how the DZ is meant to be. It's not its end state. There's still a lot more to go in terms of evolving that idea, and a sequel is a really good chance to sort of redesign that and arrive at something better. I think gear set design is hugely problematic, even classified gear sets. I think they were a fantastic idea when they were first floated, but the implementation is completely botched. They're essentially just another tier of gear. Some of them are must-haves and completely imbalanced. Some of them are very disappointing. The whole thing sucks, even though they're about to increase the drop rate. That's fine, but very problematic there. Inventory management, my god, it has the worst inventory management of any RPG I have ever played, and Lord knows that is not an easy thing to fix in a game. I think as well, there's also just one issue that I've always had with the Division is that the open world just feels very lifeless. You've got this huge, beautiful city, there's all this shit going on around you, but there's no people in it. The whole thing feels so empty, and I've always just felt that was a huge missed opportunity. If you look at something like even like Watch Dogs or GTA or so many games that have this open world element, they manage to use their cities a lot more. I would really like to see the Division do something with that, and again, I feel like that's sort of sequel territory more than it is expansion territory. I'm also just keen for like new stuff. I'm keen for new story. I'm keen for new locations. I mean, it could be set in New York and I'd be okay with that, but it could be set somewhere completely different and I would probably be more okay with that, to be honest with you. I'd love a new location to check out. Again, that sort of stuff fits in the sequel bucket a lot more than it fits in the whole, expansion bucket. There's one last reason why I'm excited about The Division 2, and that's because of the 2. Now, one of the reasons I was really excited for Destiny 2 was that I saw a game go through a life cycle where it was shit for so long and heaps of people just wrote it off as shit. And I played it and I was like, this is still a really good video game and it's getting better all the time. But no one believed me because I would post up like, hey, it's really good now. And they were like, fuck off, fanboy. They didn't play it because they didn't want to give it a chance. They tried the original. The original is garbage. There's no way it could have evolved beyond that. It's shit, okay? The sequel was Destiny 2's chance to get out with a new market and hit the reset button with people. People were willing to give that game a chance because it was a sequel. Now, Destiny 2 comprehensively squandered that opportunity in spectacular fashion, in a way that no one could have anticipated, and I don't think I've ever seen before. It just colossal failure to capitalize on that opportunity and burned a tremendous amount of goodwill. But they had a chance then to show we created something great over time. Give us another chance with this sequel. I think the journey for The Division is quite similar. I think the game launched in a horrendous state with its bugs and its imbalance and glitches and whatever. Over time, though, they worked so hard to create this and create a great experience. And I think the game deserves a second chance. I think it deserves a reset button with the community, because I think if you take this idea and you evolve it further, right, which is what Bungie failed to do, if you evolve it further and you put it out in front of a whole bunch of new people with a 2 in front of it, there's a great chance that people are going to be like, you know what? That's a great game right there, and I'm optimistic for that reason. That's one big thing that I really hope brings a lot of life to this franchise in the future, because it's got a big future ahead of it. They're making a movie still with Jake Gyllenhaal that hasn't been cancelled, and I don't even know who's directing it, but some big deal. There's a franchise here that Ubisoft are wanting to stick with, and I think a sequel is overall really good in the context of that. If I was to wish list one thing, it would be that there just needs to be a completely different approach to the season pass model that we saw last time around. That pissed so many people off, and I think if the guys were to go out and they were to say, hey, we're going to sell you a sequel and also we're going to sell you a season pass for another 60... No, okay? I enjoyed the content of the Division's Season Pass, but even I recognized that it was a pretty bullshit deal because it was pretty far from what most people wanted when they put down that money. Now, we were all pretty foolish paying for it when we didn't know what it was, and they were very tight-lipped about what that is. And in retrospect, it was wrong of them to sell us that product if they had such wildly different ambitions for what that final thing would be versus what we expected it to be. They can't make that mistake this time around. If they're going to sell us a Season Pass, we have to know what it is first. And hopefully they don't even sell us a Season Pass. Hopefully they just do something else, because Season Passes are shit. No one likes them. We don't need that anymore. Let's just aim to not repeat what happened the first time around. As for the Division 1, it's done now. It's finished. It's finished. It's on life support, but there's nothing major coming. It's just sort of, it's there. When you announce a sequel, you basically kill the influx of new players, so I expect the game player population to die off really fast. Even existing players, I think, are going to want to take a bit of a break, because they're like, cool, there's something coming, I'm just going to chill to then. So my hope is that it comes sooner rather than later. We don't know what the release date will be. We don't know if it's this year or next year or the following year. Like, we literally have no clue. So my guess, though, is that given how little content they've announced for this year, is that it should be sooner. I don't expect this to be a 3-year journey. I expect it to be like a 1 to 2 year journey, but that's a total guess. I have no idea. I just hope that it comes soon, because obviously the Division 1 is well and truly going to die at, the hands of this news. But in retrospect, like, it's been a good run. If this is how the Division goes down, if this is how the Division ends, with patch 1.8 being the last major update with chunky new stuff in it, I'm okay with that. I feel like it's been a crazy up and down journey, but I feel really thankful for that journey. It's a game that I felt obviously very close to because of, the way I did YouTube with it and how it's changed my life. I feel like 1.8 was a good send-off. I do feel that. So yeah, good luck to Massive. I hope you guys make a really good game. I hope that Massive are able to sort of learn from all the experiences and mistakes and issues of the past, because there were clearly plenty of them. I hope they're able to learn from the mistakes of the broader industry as well, and seeing what's working with certain live service games and what didn't work with certain sequels and the like. I hope we have a really good sequel in our hands in the future. I'm looking forward to playing it. I won't be covering the Division in inverted commas. I'll definitely be talking about it. I'd love to share some news on occasion. I'd love to share some thoughts based on what's going on. I'd love to talk about the game, but I'm not going to be like doing build guides and vendor reset videos ever again. That's done now. I have a different kind of channel. So I'll just be talking about it on occasion, playing it and enjoying it. And yeah, just sort of, just having some fun with it, which would be really nice. Anyway, guys, that's it. The Division 2 is coming. I'm looking forward to it. See ya.